What's up, everybody? This is Ed from This Day in Metal, and today I'm thrilled to be speaking with Antti and Janne Wirman, the brothers who have been the masterminds behind Warman for nearly 25 years. Janne, according to his current bandmates, basically invented the way keyboard is played in extreme metal today with his virtuoso playing in Children of Bodom for over 2 decades, and Antti has been creating the incredible guitar riffs and solos you've heard from Warman since its inception, while also playing in a number of other bands, including a stint in Children of Bodom with his older brother as a touring guitarist in 2015. We're here to discuss Warman's seventh studio album, appropriately titled Band of Brothers, that's due out through Reaper Entertainment on August 15th. What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up? Most of that was pretty much correct.
I tried my best to be thorough. Okay, if
Yeah.
there's any inaccuracies, you can tell me.
No,
Okay.
that was good. That was
Okay.
very good.
I think the virtuoso playing was
Yeah, that was
something.
off. But
Yeah.
Well, you guys could be the judge of that, I guess. Before we get to the new album, I want to back up slightly. Yanni, I know with the way that Children of Bodom ended those last couple years, and then with Alexei passing, you were in a place where you were questioning whether you even wanted to continue with a musical career.
Yeah.
What was the deciding factor that made you say, like, yeah, I'm going to try and make another album, or at the very least, that you wanted to play music again?
well, it was Antti and Snakehair, our bass player, Jyri.
We forced him.
Yeah, we call him the Snakehair for obvious reasons. But so it was Antti and Snakehair who kind of kept, they were like, well, come on, man, let's write one demo, or come on, man, let's do one song or whatever. And then we went to the cabin, which is a long story as well. Our
Mhm.
grandma passed right around the same time as Alexi passed, actually.
Hmm.
And then we inherited this cabin. And I told these guys that I don't feel like making any music in the Helsinki area, so that I can't concentrate here in the city.
Hmm.
So we decided to, pack up all the gear and went to the cabin, which was a brilliant idea, because then all of a sudden the music started to happen, and we wrote like 3-4 songs in the very first trip to the cabin. And we continued that on the new album. We also went to the cabin to write the music, and it seems like a very good.
Yeah, the same one that's on the cover, correct?
Yes, kind of. Yeah, it's a very, very loose interpretation, but still, yeah.
Probably a little nicer than the one on the cover.
Hopefully.
So when you did go to the cabin, though, you did have one problem, and that was you didn't have a permanent lead vocalist. And I know all Warman albums to that point didn't have a lead vocalist. And then you added Petri Lindros as your singer. How has that kind of evolved the band to like where it is today?
I mean, it's been great.
Yeah, and actually, I want to say that when we wrote the songs, we
Yeah.
even didn't know what kind of vocals there.
Yeah.
want there.
The very first trip to the cabin, we were still thinking about melodic singing in the choruses. But I'm so glad we got rid of that bullshit, right? Yes, fuck that. So Petri has changed the dynamic like massively, because I realized that I wanted all the vocals to be shouting and screaming and all the basic Bodom stuff, kind of.
Hmm.
And then at the same time, he's a guitar player, and we needed a second guitar player, or so it was just a perfect combo, and I'm so glad we came up with him, because we had other ideas, and we were thinking about things what to do in the future, and also he's busy with NC, but that's fine, but he's just a perfect fit, absolutely perfect.
I think I read somewhere that you were considering Speed Strid from Stoilwork at one point.
Yes, the first time we went to the cabin and we started writing music, and I somehow heard his voice in some of the verses, and then we wrote some of the choruses, so that okay, he's gonna do this and this melody, kind of. But it's funny, I never talked to him actually, and I've told in so many interviews that I was gonna ask him. So when I bump into him at the festival next summer or something, it's gonna be fun. But
A little awkward, maybe.
no,
No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
No.
So this album, I've listened to it a ton since I got the promo. I absolutely love it. I mean, I loved Here for None too. I think it really picks up where you left off with Here for None, but it feels like you're pushing further into that new sound that you've developed. It's heavier, it's more brutal. I think the lyrics are angrier. And like, how do you feel about the finished product, and what can you tell everybody about the album?
Well, yeah, when we started to write the songs, we didn't have in mind that it would be more aggressive or anything like that. It just came out,
that way.
yeah, quite easily.
Yes.
And everybody's been saying the same thing, that it's more metal and more aggressive, and I was first like, oh, is it really? But
Yeah.
then I realized, yeah, it is.
It is actually. It's fucking brutal. And you know,
Yeah.
when I was in Bodom and we released 10 studio albums, and at some point you realize that every cycle, every interview, you have to tell how fucking heavy the new album is. But now I'm 46, and I can honestly say that the new album is fucking so much heavier than the previous one. So it's craziness.
So now you actually mean it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
First time
in my career.
Yeah.
It's fucking heavy. It's brutal. It came out that way naturally. I love how our favorite mixing engineer of all times kind of picked up, and he realized that we have to make this really brutal. I think the mix also makes it very fucking brutal.
And the vocals are better now because we knew that Petri is going to sing.
Yeah, right. So we kind of custom made everything for Petri's vocals. So you know, it's in that sense, it's more of a tighter product. It's more like a band product, and I'm happy about it.
Well, I was going to say, this is the first time you've really, all five of you have sat down and written an album together, you know? So I think the final product is a reflection of that, and how, you know, the tightness of it, the compositions are tighter. Not that they weren't before, but like the cohesiveness of the album, it really flows from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, great. Good to hear, man. Thank you.
So you already have one single out right now. It's the title track. It's Band of Brothers. I know that 9 Lives is going to be released in a few days, July 4th. So that seems like an anthem of like a band that's like ready to tour, which is interesting because you guys really have never toured before, Here for None. Just tell me about that song. I mean, the title obviously makes sense with the two of you being in the band, but even larger, like you've been playing with these guys and you've known them for such a long time. Like, what does that song mean, and what was the thought behind that?
You mean
Band of Brothers, the title track.
Right, title track, yeah. Band of Brothers, obviously. Well, you know, it was also the first track we wrote for the new album, and somehow from the very beginning we knew that this was gonna be the song, like the number one single, the number one song, whatever. Sometimes, you know, you change your mind mid process, and you change this is actually going to be but you know, somehow we felt from the beginning that this is going to be the first single song. We love the brutalness, and then it still has this melodic, you know, it has very melodic keyboards in the choruses and stuff like that, but it has very brutal riffing, and it's a like definite, it's a step to a heavier direction from the previous album, I think. We didn't feel like that when we were writing this stuff, but then, like you mentioned, the vocals are angrier, and everything just got a bit more brutal this time. So it is a step. It is a step to that direction, and it does tell the story that we are, for the first time ever, a real band, a real band of brothers, and we would go on tour if you know, something good came up. But Petri's busy with Antti Wirman. I'm going to finish my studies in a month, so let's see what happens in the near future. But we would go on tour if we would find a good opportunity.
Absolutely. So I know that, I mean, there's plenty of songs on the album that can be singles too. I feel like a lot of them would stand alone, but the cohesiveness of the album too is really a great accomplishment. I need to ask about Fuck Death and how that's been
I can show you
the content. Yeah, can you please show me?
Yes, because when we were recording the vocals for the previous album, this was on the wall. They have an art piece that says "fuck death," and then we needed a shout for one part, and we were wondering what kind of lyrics could we put there, and then we just looked on the wall and went like, "Hey Pete, can you go fuck death?" so it's become one of our things, you know.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, because it was in Death on Its Way, and then at the end, I'm listening to Band of Brothers. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't really fit there. But I guess it's just another one of your running jokes, right?
Yes, yes. It doesn't. No, it really does not fit there.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me find out what that's about.
Yeah.
Speaking of running jokes, I know you. Do you have any Big Lebowski references on this album?
Not much, because you know, on the previous one we did have the
Your World of Pain, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We kind of, we don't want to exhaust some ideas, so I don't think there's. I mean, Big Lebowski is deep in everything we do, but
yeah,
I don't know if there's any lyrical content on this one.
Okay, so we'll just stick with Fuck Death for now, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's also at the end of the album, there's a cover of The Kiss of Judas by Stradivarius. I know the story famously. Jens Johansson, he sent you the keyboard patch. You've played on Timo Kodipelto's solo records. Antti, you have too. He's
Yeah.
sung on Warman albums. Can you speak
Yes.
about that band and how like important they were to you? Not only when you're coming up, but now that you're collaborating with them. You've
Well,
collaborated
well,
with them for so long.
right. Well, when I started with Bodom, you know the whole story. I picked up keyboard just because of I heard Jens Johansson
Hmm.
soloing. But when we started with Bodom, they were we were so much looking up to them because when we started, they were already doing massive tours around the world and they were huge in Japan and whatever. And now I remember Alexia and I discussing it, man, if we would someday be as big as Stradivarius, that would be
Hmm.
fucking awesome. So that was an honest, real something that we were like, wow, these guys are fucking doing great. Let's aim for that. And then because Finland is a small country, we became friends with all of them later on, and like you mentioned, all the collaboration, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But
by choosing the cover.
yes, but then this band, Warmen, the current 5 members, I also all of a sudden realized that hey, I'm in another band where all of the 5 guys really respect Stradivarius
Hmm.
massively. So we're like, fuck, let's do a cover, and let's do a cover that really kind of is not a joke. It's a kind of it's an
Well, yeah, I
appreciate.
mean, I know there's a long history of joke covers with you, and even in Warman, you've done some fun ones.
Yeah.
I know you guys close with "Somebody's Watching Me," which is incredible.
Yes.
Um, did you consider going for Black Diamond at all for Stradivarius with the
Let's think
harpsichord
about
sound, or
it
no?
next time.
We did not somehow, because we were on a trade ride, Seppi, our drummer, and Antti and I, and we were sipping on vodka, I'm not gonna lie. And
Okay,
we were thinking about ideas, and then somehow we came up with the drum pattern for Kiss of Judas, and we
okay,
all just loved the song. We're like, fuck it, let's do it. And
okay. All right. I had to ask because personally, that's a favorite for me.
I know, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But also we didn't want to go with the most obvious
Yeah,
choice.
well, that would have been the most obvious, I think.
Yeah.
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 So you guys are set to play shows though this summer, right? Are you you're
Yes.
you're playing festival dates in Hungary and Switzerland? Are you
Yeah,
doing a tour in
Finland.
Finland?
And then later this year we're gonna do a tour in Finland. Yes.
Well, how I want to ask, you took a very long break from touring, and really Warman has never really been a touring band. Like, how has it been to get back out there and play?
It's been great. So much fun to see the crowds, the fans, the interaction. And we have such a good chemistry in the band right now. 5 of us all we're all adults. We know what we're doing. No one has like any huge expectations for Warman. You know how music business is nowadays
Hmm.
and whatever. So we're just having fun when we go out there. We just have a lot of fun. It's
That's
good.
great. Yeah, that's good. I mean, you're set to play. Are you set to play Helsinki Ice Hall later at
Yeah,
Helsinki Metal
it's a
Fest?
yeah
Yes,
Helsinki Metal Fest. Yes.
yes. It's a
Have you played
brilliant
there since the
festival.
last COB show or no?
No, it's a new
Oh, is it a
festival.
Yeah, it's kind
new?
of outside. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
outside. It's not the actual side. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not, yeah,
yeah.
it's not the actual ice hall. It's right outside, but it's a very good festival. It's like this up and coming, uh, you know, Two Skies kind of changing their image a little bit or whatever.
Hmm.
So we feel like Helsinki Metal Fest is fucking brilliant festival nowadays, and we're really happy to play there this summer. It's
That's
a good
great.
fit for us. Yeah,
That's
we played Tuska last summer, and that was fucking
Mm.
phenomenal. I mean, the tent was packed with people, and we could not be happier. It was great.
Yeah, I watched some videos of that recently. I was combing through like the set list and I was watching YouTube videos of the live performances you've done with the full lineup. And I noticed that you have done a number of Children of Bodom covers. You've done like In Your Face, you've done Every Time I Die, Hate Me, Six
Yeah.
Pounder, so on and so forth. What was the conversation like putting those in the set list? I know with only Here for None, you only had a limited amount of songs to choose from, but were there reservations about playing them at all, or did it feel good to perform those again?
There was no reservations because no one is currently playing those songs, and they're
Yeah,
really good fucking songs.
great songs, incredible
Right.
songs.
And Antti and I have been together playing them live before, and there was no reservations. I don't give a fuck what anyone says on the internet. I just don't. I'm too old for that shit.
Hmm.
So we just felt like doing it because like you said, we didn't have enough original material. We didn't have enough material of the new Bodom style that we could fill a set list. So for me, it was very natural to play some Bodom songs. Now that we are having a second album out, we're gonna have way more Warman material. I think we're still gonna play a couple of Bodom
Yes,
songs
of
if we
course.
feel like it. But if we don't, we won't. I mean, whatever we fucking feel like
And
doing.
also it felt stupid that we would play some old Warman songs like instrumental stuff or something like that between. It doesn't just work
Yeah, and none of
anymore.
and none of the old kind of vocal songs would have fit with Petri. We've kind of
Tried.
Yeah, we played with the
Mhm.
idea, but it just wouldn't work. So why not play Bodom because we can.
Absolutely. Why not? I mean, I loved seeing it. I've been watching it. It's on my recently watched on YouTube. It pops up all the time, even when I'm not looking for it. So
Great.
so speaking of that, Antti, you joined Children of Bodom in for the tour dates in 2015. They were in a bit of a bind at that time, right? I mean, they had
Mm.
just let go Rupe. What was that conversation like? Was it Yanni reaching out to you? Was it Alexi reaching out to you? Like, how did that go? It's like, hey, you want to play in my band? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, I think it was Janne who asked, but the conversation was something like that. We already knew that it's going to happen with Rope, and I said that, hey guys, I have this situation in my life that I'm gonna anyways quit my job, and I have free time for number amount of months, and then we started to discuss about it, and yeah, and then just why not? Let's go.
And that was for pretty much all of that year, correct?
Yes.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, it's great. I mean, you guys already played together in Warman, obviously, but for that, I feel like that's a great opportunity and a very like a perhaps
Yeah.
a bigger stage. You got to tour a little bit more than you have
Yeah.
outside of Europe and all that. I
No,
also
yeah,
wanted to ask.
we did crazy shit together, like China, Japan, Australia, all kind of fucking awesome shit. Like
Getting to
a
travel the
lot.
world with your brother is a pretty cool feeling, I would
Yeah, it
assume.
was great.
Yeah, I think it was one of your longest tours ever.
Yeah, no, yeah, because we've jumped straight from the Pacific to the European tour. That was like one day, one day of in between.
Yeah,
And
we
then
flew from Australia to home for one night, and then we left for the European tour.
yeah, which was the longest ever. So
Yeah.
that was brutal, but
I,
fuck it.
I feel like a lot of your tours were like that, but
No, back in the day, well, like way back in the day. But then,
yeah.
more recently it was okay, kind of. But yeah.
So there, I mean, there is a bit of news on the Children of Bodom front too, Yanni. The Children of Bodom book is available for pre-order.
Yeah.
What was it like, recounting that? I know all of you kind of got together with IC, right? The old
Yes.
beat writer that used to follow you guys. I think he went to
Yes.
Japan with you guys. So
Yes.
what was that like? And can you share any stories from that book?
I mean, we spent fucking not how many times, like 10, 15 times we got together and we had drinks and we told these stories to his recorder, and there was laughter, there was tears, there was
Mm,
everything, because it tells the whole fucking brutal honest story of the band, and how much fun was it when it started, and how
mhm.
shit was it when it went to shit.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's about
Well,
it.
I'm looking forward to it. I pre-ordered it. I'm excited. I actually just emailed the company because you guys put out a thing that said pre-order the English version, and I'm like, oh shit, did I order the Finnish version? I'm never going to be able to read that. So I had to email. I
No,
emailed the book company today, and I was like, wait a minute. And thankfully, I got the
I'm
English version.
fairly
Thank God.
certain you ordered the English version, because the Finnish version, the link is from a Finnish shop, so
All
you
right.
wouldn't.
I had a moment of panic. I'm like, did I just spend all this money
You're
on a
fine,
book I can't read? Like,
Ed. You're fine.
okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Coming from the source, I appreciate that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so obviously we're on the brothers, theme here with Band of Brothers. You guys are brothers. Antti, you're credited with playing on the Unknown Soldier, the first Warman album, as a guest musician, but you didn't permanently join until the next album, Beyond Abilities. So
Well,
is that
I,
true or no?
No,
no,
but he was about 15 years old.
yes,
So
Okay, okay, all right, all right.
maybe our mom said that.
No, you can't play with Yanni.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're not allowed.
right. No, I don't actually know why it is like that, but yeah, he played on the
I
from
know
the
he
first
played. He
album.
played on the first. He played on
Yeah,
3 tracks, I think, on that
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
At least from what I looked up, it could be
But
more.
he was 15, 16 years old, so that also is a I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
Well, I don't know why it's credited like that, but no one knows.
I was just curious. I have a brother too, and I was just like, oh, maybe it's an older brother, younger brother thing. You never know.
Right.
When I was researching this, Yanni, I came across what seemed to be your actual post on the Ultimate Metal forums explaining what sentence you used. Were you a regular on those message boards? Did you actually post that? Or is that
Like,
someone pretending to be you?
no, like very a long time ago, I went on there sometimes. Yeah. Kind of before the internet became like before social media. Yeah. Like a
Before it
long
was
time ago.
terrible?
Yes, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
that's
sometimes went on there, and if I saw something that the fans were discussing that was just terribly wrong, I tried to give them some real.
some clarity.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I have to credit those message boards because I think that's how I found Children of Bodom so many years ago. And I think the
Oh yeah.
first album I heard was Follow the Reaper, and I was like, my first reaction was like, what the hell am I listening to? And then my second reaction was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I love this. I need more of it. And then I went
Yeah.
back and got your back catalog and everything. So really, my question for you is like, when did you realize that you were part of something special playing in that band?
Well, that's funny because it you don't realize it. You have having so much fun. You're so young. It's a party 24/7. You
Yeah,
you realize it like so much later in your adult life that, oh man, we did something really special when we were kids. Kind of. So
yeah.
the band was every album sold more than the other, and we were just going places and touring constantly. And you don't sit down and when you're 21, 22 years old, you don't sit down like, man, I've done things. You don't fucking care. You want to see what's next, and
Yeah.
you're hungry for the success and all of that. So it doesn't really hit you until much later. You kind of realize that, wow, we did something that is actually meaningful in the field of heavy metal music.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the time I was blown away by it, and now like reflecting, I just went through like a whole huge like Children of Bodom phase where I was going through all the old albums and everything. And then having this album come out is really a treat because it's not the same, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously you
No.
guys are doing something in the vein of it, but it's just
Yeah.
great to hear you playing, your brother playing, all the
Yeah.
musicians playing, and just that style of music that it's still alive and it's thriving is a great thing, I think, for
Yeah.
the entire heavy metal world.
Yes. And of course, also for clarity, we do not want to we don't aim to sound like Bodom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. We know where we're coming from. We know what kind of riffs we are writing, but our idea with Warman right now is not trying to.
No, it's completely its own thing,
Yeah.
which is great, but it's just nice to hear. I'm glad you decided to start playing again, is what I'm saying. I'm glad your
Yes.
brother dragged you to a
Thanks,
cabin
man.
and made you
Well,
start playing.
thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. Good to hear.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap this up, I mean, I have both of you here. I mean, what's it like to be able to do this together, create music together, and what do you guys credit your success to?
I mean, it's great fun to be able to do this, but at the same time, my thinking is that it's great to keep it as a hobby. Like I don't think music business is serious anymore nowadays. Music is free, and there's already generations of kids who've grown up, knowing that music is free, and
Hmm.
and that has affected everything. Like why would you spend countless of hours and actually money in writing an album and releasing an album that kids can just listen for free and it won't generate you nothing?
Yes.
So it's I'm just having fun. I love playing with these guys. I love the music that we're doing, but it's not in terms of like, you know, I completely think it as a hobby nowadays
Hmm.
because
As opposed
it
to the
won't it
career
won't
it was. Yeah.
right because it won't pay my kids' bills. It just won't. So in I love doing Warman. I fucking love where we're going. We have so much good response at the shows, and we have so much fun on tour and whatever. But at the same time, it will never be all of us doing it as a full-time job.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
But the fun thing here, I think, is that we live 500 meters apart, and
Okay.
we both have home studios. We can record everything at home.
Basically, pretty much. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we are actually rehearsing for the festivals at Janne's garage. It's like,
Dude,
that's American way.
That's it hits home. It's very close to home for me. That line on Kingdom of Rush, "Drinking alone in my garage" when I heard it,
Yeah,
that one really hit home.
Dude, this is our fucking summer of California. I bought that house like 20 years ago, and I always kind of thought that, man, one day we could like rehearse, play drums in this garage and whatever. It's a massive garage kind of, and now we're finally doing it. So it's one more, you know, thing that I've always dreamt of. That's just fun, and it's super fun. But
that's great. That's great to hear, especially, you know, after considering what you've been through and like, you know, considering not doing it at all. I'm glad you found it, and I'm glad that I'm here speaking with you. This has been great. Warman's seventh studio album, Band of Brothers, is due out August 15th through Reaper Entertainment. Band of Brothers, the lead single, is out now on all major streaming platforms, and 9 Lives will be released on July 4th. You can pre-order the album on Reaper Entertainment's website with a number of bundle options, including other merchandise like hoodies, t-shirts, patches. As a huge fan of your work, guys, thank you really for doing this.
thank you, Ed.
When the time is right, I hope that maybe you'll play a show in the States. But I know that the climate's really not for that right now, but maybe in the future.
No, but hopefully someday, hopefully we'll meet you at someday. It's been great talking to you.
That would be a dream come true for me. So thank you guys so much. Yanni, congratulations on finishing your architecture degree. I'll see you guys when I see you. All right?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.